So today we are actually dealing with facility conditions. But before that, let's just spend like 5 minutes. What are people from the last class we had? Hello. So what are our take home from the last class? I need to hear us out.
Hello.
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 Madam Kilo, Madam Esther, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I learned about.
Although I joined a little bit late last time, but
Okay.
I got something that stood out. That in our respective facilities, we must ensure that all contracts run under agreements.
Okay.
And as facility managers, we should, before we take up any facility function, the first thing to do is to ensure that we keep a good record of the assets in that
Okay.
facility.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Madam Kilo. So, Madam Esther.
Okay, thank you very much. Last lecture, I learned about the four things that monitoring and evaluation aim at. And we were made to understand that M&E ensures that maintenance is executed as planned. And M&S assesses maintenance actions effectiveness and also helps to take correct actions on identified problems. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Alko. So, anybody? Okay, Madam Grace, please go ahead.
Okay, I also learned that we must have a clear objectives when we are having maintenance planning. When our equipment, we must be able to dictate what exactly is the maintenance policy for the equipment. Either it needs to be replaced instead of repairing continuously. We should make a firm decision. If it needs to be replaced, we go for a total replacement instead of continuous repairing. Thank you.
Yes, okay. Your maintenance planning encompasses but what you're actually trying to drive at is availability. And what guarantees your availability is the quality maintenance practices you put in place. And how do you do your maintenance planning? Maintenance planning must completely focus what exactly do you want to achieve. If you are planning to have a 10-year life cycle for a particular equipment, that 10-year life cycle depends on the quality of maintenance place for that. This encompasses your normal routine maintenance. And at the same time, you need to understand what are the failure modes of that particular equipment. For instance, let's take a laptop for an instance. Your laptop, what are these things that can cause your laptop to fail? One, power can cause your laptop to fail. If the adapter is bad, it can cause your laptop to fail. Surge can cause your laptop to fail. If water entered your laptop, can cause your laptop to fail. If your laptop fell down and it got broken, these are likely things that can cause your laptop to fail. Now that you've already itemized what are those things, then how can you prevent these? How can you prevent all these mild failure from occurring? And the first time you can, when we talk about electrical, you can say, okay, fine, let me try and get a surge arrestor in order for light not to spoil my laptop. So when I'm working on my system, I need to do away with water. Then I need to have a bag that can hold my laptop in place. These are all preventive measures you put in place. Then with this, you can now strategize to see what kind of maintenance activity you're actually going to put in place. Is it preventive? Is it predictive? Is it condition monitoring? Or is it reactive? Or you actually want to do a reliability center kind of maintenance? So it does depend. But you need to itemize what is actually the failure mode of your equipment. So we've all learned so far. Let me just take one more person before we continue on to this class. So one more person, please. Yeah, I'm waiting. I have 3 people so far mention what they learned from the last class. I need one more person to go. Hello, Emma. Cement bag meal preferred. Okay, so let's quickly commence today's class then. Since today we're actually dealing with facility condition assessment, and these are the topic we're going to cover today. The meaning of facility condition assessment, the purpose, the scope of facility condition assessment, processes that it involves when you want to conduct a facility condition assessment. The levels of facility condition assessment, facility performance evaluation, condition assessment is FCA, while performance evaluation is FPE. The two of them are actually interwoven. The condition assessment is done before taking over a facility, while the performance evaluation is done in order for you to improve in terms of your performance as regards your deliverables. Then the difference between performance evaluation and condition assessment. How can you design your facility condition assessment? And what are those tools that are required when you want to carry out facility condition assessment? So we're going to deal with introduction, purpose, scope, process, facility condition assessment, documentation and review, meaning of performance evaluation, then how can you conduct a successful performance evaluation, then benefits of performance evaluation, and what are the challenges you can encounter when you are actually doing performance evaluation. So introduction. What is facility condition assessment? This is a process of inspecting each system in a building to understand its condition. Let's look at those red lettered words here. One, you inspect. When you inspect, what do you do? What do you gain? We understand, you have a comprehensive detail of the current condition of the building systems. And what are those building systems? We're still going to discuss that. When you inspect, you are able to itemize what are the deficiencies. Then when you itemize what are the deficiencies, with that, it is easier for you to juxtapose or estimate what is actually going to be the remaining useful life for that particular either building or an asset. Then also, your inspection can also help you to formalize what is referred to as facility condition index, which is still part of what we're going to discuss in today's module. And condition assessment is a multidisciplinary review. Just like what we said when we were discussing asset management, that we said it's a multidisciplinary kind of approach or system. Your condition assessment is also a multidisciplinary in the sense that this is not actually done by the facility manager alone. It's just like when you want to take up a 3-bedroom apartment. The owner of the apartment tells you these are the features of my facility. You don't base on what he has told you to make payments. You still take your time, either at that point in time, yourself, your agent, or possibly if you are the man, you can take your wife alongside to go and inspect and assess thoroughly what is the current condition of that apartment. If that apartment meets your requirement, then that you can go ahead and make payment for the rental. If it doesn't, you can decide to tell the landlord, these and these and these are what I want to be put in place before I can take up the apartment. And the landlord can also do that. For us to get this requirement done for you, that means invariably your rent is going to increase from so amount per annum to this so amount per annum based on your requirement. At the end of the day, by the time the two of you meet at a center, then you can have decided to make payments and sign off the agreement. So that's why I said it's a multidisciplinary, because when you are conducting your assessment, it most of the time I require you to have your structural engineer, your MEP engineer, your in-house facility team, as well be part of the people that are going to conduct the assessment for you. And when you have done this, what do you stand to gain? You are able to provide recommendations regarding what while you do the thorough assessment, it is easier for you to pinpoint where issues are, or possibly let's assume when you are doing your assessment, you discover that you have a water loss in some certain area. Then you want to ask the question why is there water loss? Where is the water that leakage from somewhere, or these are water
Can you
that are
please
happening
tell the person that is driving to mute our
then how can
microphone?
we prevent this water loss if we take on this facility? These are all when we actually.
Carolina, should please mute herself, please.
This is what we're actually able to determine when you conduct facility condition assessment, to provide remedial action plan. So with your assessment, you come to terms to know, do you actually need an after replacement? Can you still continue with repair and maintenance? These are points, these are decisions you can make when you conduct your condition assessment thoroughly. Then it helps you to produce capital replacement plan. Maybe possibly after you have done your assessment, and you assign costs to those things that you already itemized. And when you consider your budget, you discover that during that calendar year, your budget might not meet up for certain area as far, maybe after replacement. So you can now factor this as part of your capital expenditure in the coming year. Then the other thing is that it also helps you to determine, it also helps you to formulate your maintenance strategy in terms of, okay, do I need to play this on a routine maintenance? Do I have to have an external vendor to handle this? Can I do this through my own in-house technicians or engineers? These are all decisions you can make when you do a thorough condition assessment. And we said something here, we made mention of something here. We said that facility condition assessment is the process of inspecting each building. What is the system of a building? What is the building system? A building system can be defined as an assembly of interrelated or interdependent parts, forming a more complex and unified whole and serving a common purpose. Then your building system includes your structural system, which is your foundation system, your structural system, which include your beam, your column, your block wall, and all those stuff, your floor system, your roofing system, then your walls and columns. These are all under building system, but these ones that I mentioned are classified under structural system. But those that are not structural system are your HVAC, which is your heat, ventilation, and air conditioning, your electrical system, which includes your low voltage and your extra low voltage system, your transportation system, which include your pavement, your staircase, your lift, and your conveyors. The mechanical system, you have security and safety system, and your communication system. These are all systems within a building. So when you are conducting your facility condition assessment, your condition assessment might require to go through all these above mentioned systems. You might need somebody that is specialized in foundation, somebody that is more specialized. Mr. Emmanuel, can you please help us mute your speaker? Thank you very much. So what are those things that you stand to gain when you do a thorough evaluation of your building? One, your data that you accumulated from that can help you to determine what are the short-term financial needs, in the sense that after my assessment, I discovered that we need to make a replacement of some air conditions. Then some ceiling tiles are bad. Then I decided to change my ceiling tiles because the financial cost, the financial implication for a ceiling tile is small compared to the cost of replacing an air conditioner. So based on priority and based on requirements, I can easily determine what are my short-term financial needs, something I can easily spend money on quickly in order for me to start making use of that facility. Then competitive need. When you do your assessment, you try to come to terms that, okay, you compare your facility with another facility that is into the same set of or into the same type of business that the facility is actually running. Then you now discover that the other facility is gaining in more of customer compared to your own facility. Now you might say, okay, you need to upgrade your facility to meet up the standard that customers are actually willing to pay for. So within this, you can also start thinking about how you can get those facilities also standard so that you can also gain in terms of customer inflow. Then long-term mandates, which include maybe your capital expenditure, something that you don't have the financial capacity, you don't have the financial background to meet up that financial requirements of that period in time. You could make it a plan. Like you have to change, assuming you're in the whole of estate, you have an estate of almost about 50 block of flats, and all the lightings you have in that flat or in each of those blocks are the olden days lightings, which are all the tangential filaments. And you decided that you want to change your fluorescence in that facility all completely into LEDs. At that point in time, you might not have that financial capacity, because if you look at the costs you are going to incur in making a replacement of all the entire lighting within that facility, it could be a huge amount of money. But you can plan that, okay, I need to get it done within a span of 2 years, which is 12 calendar months. Okay, month one, you divide the whole complete building with 4 calendar months, and that comes to around maybe 2.2. So you are going to take each of the flats, 2 blocks of flats on a monthly basis. And before you say it, in a span of 2 years, you have completely changed the entire LEDs of the entire estate. Then the building stewardship. How is your deliverables supporting the facility use in terms of walkways are being in right conditions, there's no roof leakage, the doors are actually working as per what they needed to start. Customers get to the washroom, they can use the washroom as a when required, they can use the toilet as a when required. All the building systems are giving the right building stewardship to the end user. Then strategic alignment. Every organization has what we call vision and mission. So when you are drawing up with your assessment, it is not easier for you to draw up your strategy on how to ensure the facility is up to date, to ensure that the facility meets the overall business goal of the entire organization. So in doing your assessment, you are able to draw up your strategy, and your strategy will definitely be in alignment with the overall organization mission and goal. And what role does assessment play when you are doing acquisition? Acquisition means, for instance, somebody is managing A and B estate before, and A and B estate wanted to do an outright selling of that estate, and your company, as a facility management company and a building company, consider it necessary because they have the financial capacity and they want to buy over this estate. The first thing you need to do before you put your money into acquisition is you have to conduct what you refer to as assessment. And don't forget, the assessment guarantee you the opportunity to make some vital decision on what does the current value of that particular asset worth. Then, what are the best offer that you can give so that you don't overpay for that facility? Because when you make payment, don't forget, you are also trying as much as possible within a certain period of year to recoup back that money. And after recouping that money, you want to start talking about profitability. So what are the essence of assessment in acquisition? One, your facility condition assessment assists you to uncover all potential issues associated with all assets in the facility. Issues like potential issues like that associated with your structural damage. We make mention of a lot of things about structure. We're talking about foundation, the building structure. We're talking about roofing, the floor, and all the rest. Then, what are the non-structural? What is the current condition of the non-structural systems? Then your FCA also assists you as a potential buyer to know what are the financial risks involved for you to acquire that property. What are the financial risks you face? What are the financial challenges you are going to encounter if you acquire such kind of facility? And also, it also allows you to properly negotiate the fair price based on the true current condition of that facility, because you are actually placing price on that facility based on the true current condition, not based on what the seller actually wants to sell that facility. Then your FCA helps you to unfold all maintenance needs so that buyer can plan necessary upgrading action based on priority. So when you do your assessment and you know these are the maintenance activity you'll be dealing with when you acquire that property, these are what you need to spend money on in order to either upgrade or you need an outright replacement. So with thorough facility assessment, buyer can evaluate the potential return on investment and so decide if the property actually worth the investment. You want to place your money on a facility. That money you are placing on that facility is like a loan. The facility must be able to generate that money back. And how many years are you going to talk about breaking even? Is it 3 years? Is it 5 years? And when you assess the facility, you discover that the cost you are going to incur in order to put the facility into the standard will take you like almost about 10 years before you can recoup back the money. You know, it is after you have paid back the money that you have already invested, that is when you can now start talking about return on investment. So if you have another facility that after assessment you see that, oh, this facility within a span of 5 years, I can easily recoup back the money and I will start talking about profitability. Then I will start talking about ROI. Then I can put my money there. Compared to a scenario whereby I have to wait for the next 30 years, the next 20 years. So these are what your condition assessment helps you to gather when you want to acquire a new facility. Then with your SA, it is easier for you to draw up necessary estimated cost required in bringing the facility or the property to the desired standard for that property to be in alignment with your organization's strategic goal. Then allow the buyer to budget for renovation and future maintenance. This is what your condition assessment does for you in terms of acquisition. You don't just pay for the property, you pay for a property that actually worth it financially and a property that actually worth it in terms of sustainability and a property that actually worth it in terms of maintainability. You don't want to acquire a property that is not maintainable, and neither do you want to acquire a property that you have to spend a huge amount of money and you have to wait for a lengthy period of time before you can break even. And you are actually going to delay the return on investment to all investors as well. So what are the benefits of your condition assessment? One, your condition assessment can help you to generate, it can help you to generate your asset register. Then to prepare engineering description, because when you do your assessment, you can tell about what is the length of the entire property, what is the breadth of the entire property, how many blocks of flat do you have in the entire property, what is the square area of each of the blocks, each of the room, what are the square area of this living room, what is the square area of the bedroom, what is the square area of the kitchen, then what is the engineering design of the furnitures. Are they marble? Are they wooden furniture? Are they furniture with design? Then the kitchen area, does it have an extractor? These are all the engineering specifications you can deduce, you can pull out from your assessment. And it also helps you to identify and record the existing condition of every component within that facility. Then with that, with your thorough assessment, it is easier for you to determine what is going to be, or for you to just estimate what is going to be the useful life or an estimated remaining life of a particular asset within that facility. It also helps you to prepare estimated costs related to in terms of maintenance, in terms of repair, in terms of overhauling, in terms of actual upgrading. Then you can also prioritize what are those things that you can give an immediate maintenance. What are those things that you can give a long-term repair mandate? What are those things that are going to go under your capital expenditure? Then to compare the cost of the system and component remediation versus cost of facility repair replacement. When you assign cost to each and every component of that facility, you can still compare the cost of renovation, the cost of repair, the cost of maintenance compared to the cost of outright replacement. If the cost of repair is almost equivalent to the cost of outright replacement, it is of economic value for you to go for a complete replacement instead of what? Repair. In terms of strategic and finance aspects, what benefit do you get from your condition assessment? One, you have a comprehensive, detailed data of the facility, which you can use to make some financial decision and also strategic decision as well. Then two, with those data, you can easily define what is actually the problem of that facility. Then, with that data at hand, you are able to justify the reason why you want to spend in terms of capital expenditure or operating expenditure. Then it also helps you to streamline facility management and also improve facility condition. It also helps you to allow facility personnel to better plan, manage, and direct work. So you know where you can assign your manpower to. Fine, we need to do an outright what? Overhauling, outright revamp.
No, I can't hear you.
Hello? There is a network issue there. So let me bring up the slide. Okay, so you can easily prioritize to know which one you are actually going to give priority to in terms of financial availability and those things that needed to wait for a certain period of time before you get them fixed. What are the elements of facility condition assessment? What are those things you need to like consider, or those things that you need to go through when you are doing your condition assessment? Your building interior, your site development and amenity, which include your pavement, your entrance, your walkways, your document review, which include, you can ask for the as-built drawing and the architectural drawing of the building if it is available. And let me tell us the difference between an architectural drawing and an as-built drawing. An architectural drawing is being provided before the commencement of a project. That tells you the layout, the plumbing layout, the electrical layout, and all the necessary amenities that the building is going to encompass. Then the as-built drawing is being generated after the project has been completed. Because during the construction period, there could be a variation in terms of this is where the plumbing line is supposed to take. And instead of that complete horizontal, the plumbing line has to go through a column and it has to go through some bend. So in the as-built drawing, it's going to be in that form as the way it is being designed based on what? Variations. Then the fire protection and life safety regulation, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing system, structure, your foundation, and exterior wall, preliminary review, and on-site observation. And when you are doing your condition assessment is not something that you can do with software. You have to personally be on ground. It is of reason now that assessments are being done with drone. For most especially areas that are very, very difficult to assess, you can also do your assessment with what? With drone. So when is the best period to assess a facility? When you want to conduct the facility condition assessment, when is the best time to do it? One, the best and quality time to assess a property for condition assessment are: one, before taking over the facility for third-party maintenance or before major acquisition. If you are a facility management company and a third-party property owner approach your company to come and take up their facility for maintenance, the first you do before you sign off any agreement is you need to send your team to that facility for an assessment. Or possibly you want to acquire a major property, you need to conduct assessment. Then two, before a comprehensive or a minor renovation is need to be carried out, assessment need to be conducted. When a capital turnaround renovation or upgrading is to be what? Initiated, you need to conduct an assessment. Before a comprehensive or minor renovation is carried out, assessment ought to be done. After a significant or a major incident like fire incident, flood, riot that lead to the major property damage, or storm or strong storm that affect that facility, you need to conduct an assessment to know what are the things that needed to be done after that major incident. Then disaster preparedness. For instance, if Lagos State Weather, let's assume that Lagos State Security propose that there is going to be a huge riot within Lekki area on 30th of June. That security notification will help you as a facility manager. You now start thinking about, okay, what do I need to do? You need to first of all assess your facility. If somebody wants to jump the fence into the facility, do we have enough protection against that? When the riot, during the riot, if they decided to break into the facility, do we have the fence strong enough to withhold that? Or possibly maybe Lagos State Weather predicted that there's going to be a heavy rainfall for complete 7 days. And you know that there could be flood. Part of the assessment you need to do is that all the drainage within and around our facility, are they adequately flowing in case the rain started flowing? If the answer is no, you need to start thinking about, oh, do we get all this local malam, or who is going to help us in evacuating all the junks in all the drainages. Then all our roof gutters, are they in good conditions so that we don't have accumulation of water on our roof? These are what your assessment can do for you. Disaster preparedness with condition assessment. Our social cost of injury, as a cost of injuring the facility against actually coming up in the next 2 months, and you want to prepare against that. You want to mitigate against the shock. So what is the purpose of facility condition assessment? Why do we do condition assessment? One, it helps us to establish current repair cost, evaluating the cost of the deficiency, establishing the current repair cost of correcting the deficiency, and creating a priority list of the repair. And also, it helps us to establish budget that will be successful in controlling the cost while the most critical deficiency are being resolved. After you have conducted your assessment and you have already established the repair cost you want to do currently, even while doing that, you still need to base it on priority. Oh, let me quickly do painting work. Oh, let me do the tile. Let me make some floor tiles replacement. Okay, let me change the furniture. Let me do some lighting. So based on priority, which one do you need to attend to? So you can use your assessment to determine your current cost. You can now, based on current cost, put everything on priority, and at the same time, you can decide if you are going to plan this in a phase-wise manner. Then, when you do your condition assessment, you can use that to generate your condition index. Facility condition index is a very important key metric in facility management used to quantify a facility physical condition at a specific point in time. Your FCI is calculated using the total system repair or maintenance cost and the current replacement value. So your FCI is your total repair, your total maintenance or repair cost divided by the total current replacement value of that particular building or that particular asset. And let's see the example here. For instance, a physical asset has a total repair and maintenance cost of 1 million, and the current replacement cost is 3 million. What is the facility condition index? The total repair and maintenance cost is 1 million, while your current replacement cost is 3 million. Please, this is 10 million, not 10 million, not 1 million. Please, when you have this slide, can you change this to 10 million, not 1 million? So you can see you have 3 million divided by 10 million. That gives you 0.3. Then multiply by 100, that gives you 3%. And let's look at this. This is your facility condition index. When you have between 0 and 2%, that means your facility is in an excellent condition. When you have between 2 and 5, it tells you your facility is in good condition. Between 5 and 10, the facility is still in fair stage, but not good, not excellent. Anything above 10 tells you that the facility is completely in a poor condition, and the best you can do is to go for an outright replacement. So you can see when your FCI is between 0 to 5, you're good enough. 0 to 2 is excellent, and 2 to 5 is good. So when you have 0 to 5, your facility is in excellent and in good condition. 5 to 10 is fair, but 10 to 30 is poor. Then when it's going beyond 30, your facility is in critical condition, and anything can absolutely happen to that facility if care is not taken. Your facility condition index can help you to compare the condition of one facility to group of facilities. For instance, you do your condition assessment in A and B estate, and you do another assessment in B and C estate, and you discover that B and C is having a quality SCI compared to A and B. So tracking trends, the extent of improvement or deterioration over time. Then with your SCI, you can start tracking what is how maybe when you do the assessment in 2022 and you try to do the same assessment 4 years later and your SCI is falling towards 10. So that tells you your facility is what? Deteriorating. Then it also helps you to prioritize capital improvement projects. When you discover that your facility is tending towards critical condition, you can now start thinking about how do you go for overhauling. Do you bring the whole entire facility down and reconstruct again? It also helps you make renovation versus replacement decision. These are all what you stand to gain when you do your condition with your what? Condition index. The second thing is that your condition assessment also helps you to forecast future costs. Understanding the future deficiency is just like as important as calculating building current condition. Forecast cost by breaking down a building into its individual components. Individual components in the sense that you take the floor, you take the building envelope, you take the roof, you take the doors, and break every component or break the whole entire building into component wise, and you assign cost to them. It also helps you to estimate the estimated life of the building. Calculating the forecast cost based on the representative portion of the building total replacement value. Then your condition assessment helps you to gain to formulate building data. You have a lot of data about the building. Then you can maintain them and you can use that data to forecast the current and historic condition of that facility. It also includes a current set of typical deficiency and the best correction for them. And also the use of cost model life cycle analysis to assign the life expectancy for the building system. Please just give me 2 minutes. Let me quickly, I have an urgent
You guys didn't join the meeting, the training. I thought How much? Because
Yeah, 11.
We can hear
Hello,
you.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So it seems the facilitators have been kind of
We can hear
bad
you.
network. Now let's give him a few minutes to join us. Okay, take us back now.
Mama build. Mama build. That's it. Mama build. Face outside of children.
hello, no volume or no volume. I'm not hearing anything. No.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hello. I can hear you now.
Yeah, please, could they? Sorry, I was kind of attending to something. Please, could you request what
We can hear you now.
I can hear you now.
So I was really sidetracked on this issue now. So, should I elaborate on this particular topic, or because I do struggle with it. If you can give me a little bit of
Last week Friday it was very, very good.
It depends on your education.
She the same thing another person is complaining about no volume.
Yeah, the child is up.
Some of them, I don't see them for 19th floor.
They pay your money. All those on our SQ.
Hello?
We can
Hello?
hear you. We can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sorry for the little itch. So let me go back. This is where we actually end it up before the transmission to occur. So we said with our facility condition assessment, we gather a lot of data about the facility. And that data, we can maintain that data. And with that data, we can make a lot of informed business decisions. We can make a lot of economic value decisions. We can make a lot of financial decisions as far as that facility is concerned. Then, with that data, with the assessment, then it is easier for us to know where we need to allocate our resources into, either manpower resources, financial resources, or any other thing that entails into that facility. Then, it also helps us to determine estimates for the investment cost. Effective condition assessment lead to need for decision taking for facility, capital investment, and necessary return on investment. It also helps us to determine
materials, labor, equipment, and additional expenses.
Then compile the estimated cost into building plan with consideration of available financial resources, funding cycle, and urgency of addressing specific issues. When you do your assessment thoroughly, then you are able to determine what are those repairs, maintenance that you can easily attend to immediately based on priority. And what are those ones that you can now put them on plan? How do you plan your available resources in terms of manpower, in terms of financial, in terms of labor, in terms of material availability? How do you plan? These are all what you consider, and these are all what your assessment gives you the opportunity to determine which one you are actually going to dispose of, which one you are actually going to put in place. Do you need an external vendor to help you carry a lot of maintenance activity? Do you need a vendor who can actually carry out a job for you while you pay on instrumental basis? This addition you make when you have a comprehensive assessment. Discovery of current building deficiency. Benchmarking of the building current performance. What is the current performance of the building? Then, what do you expect in terms of expectation? Is the building up to the task? Is this giving you the right expectation in terms of deliverable compared to other facilities? Are you falling below? And if you're falling below, how and what are those things you need to do in order to meet up the required standard of that facility? We're supposed to have a 10-minute break, but based on those each breakdown, should we continue or should we reduce it to 5 minutes? Hello?
Let's continue.
Okay, great. So what are the scope of facility condition assessment? When you are doing your facility condition, what are those scope? What are those things that you need to cover? To observe the general site improvements and condition of all major building systems, which we have already earlier mentioned. Then to review pertinent documents such as your as-built drawing, your building record, your construction document, building codes and violation, and maintenance record, if and only if available. And when these are not available, because at times you cannot tell when you are taking up a facility that had already been maintained by another facility management company. Maybe possibly there is a kind of a rift between the facility company and the third party property owner. And based on this, the facility company decided not to give out a lot of documents because of that. And when your facility comes in, if the building doesn't have an as-built drawing, you might need to get an architect to come and do that for you. That may cost you a lot of money. So this is part of where your engagement starts from. You can write to the property owner. When the property owner writes a letter to your facility company that, okay, we need you to come and take over this facility, then reply them. Kindly confirm if the list of these items are available. If they reply you that those items you mentioned or you requested for are not available, then you cannot tell them, we need this. As since they are not available, we are going to get our expert to get this available, and this is going to be the cost for us to generate an as-built drawing for you, for us to generate an asset register for you, and for us to generate a maintenance record that we'll be using subsequently. For the assessment, this is that one. So by the time you and the third party agreed on those items, then you can now commence your assessment, because you know this is coming at a cost. Most of the time, assessment is not something that you can do free of charge. And that's why you see some company, when you have an equipment breakdown and you request them to come and assess your equipment, they always ask for a call-out charges before they even visit your facility. That is the difference from the cost of replacement based on what they discover that happened to be the problem of that particular equipment. So, production of detailed list of remedial work. Remedial work production refers to the process undertaken to repair, restore, or improve building system or facility that has already suffered from defects, damage, or deterioration over time. These lists are often generated during facility condition assessment or during project delivery period. And if it is in terms of a project, you refer to it as a snag list. When a construction work is completed and the contractor come back to the owner of the property that we have completed the work. Now, it now takes the project manager, the facility manager, the owner of the property, the architect, the QS, and all the necessary team to go for what we call a comprehensive assessment. It is until when that project is being signed off that the finance department has the right to release the final payment of the contractor. And all the itemized issues during that visit are referred to as snag list. And until when the contractor ensure that he completed those itemized scenarios, he cannot get his balance payment. Or, for instance, you want to rent an apartment and you itemize all these detailed list of remedial work. Oh, sorry, this socket is bad, change it. This ceiling, this floor tiles is bad, change it. The door is not closing well. So when you itemize all those things and you give it to the landlord, before you are going to make payment, you need to come back to that same apartment. If the landlord had actually done all those things itemized during the visit, if that has been done and you are already satisfied, then you can now go ahead and make payment for the renter. But if not, you might decide not to make payment for the renter. Then, production of detailed list of schedule of dilapidation. This is mostly done if you are giving out an apartment or you are giving out a property for rent or a lease. If a company, let's assume that a bank is using your property for a banking operation, and you've already signed an agreement for a 10 years lease period. Then, when the lease period gets to like 5 years, you need to conduct an assessment alongside with the bank facility team to see how fair they are using your facility. Then, when it is 8 years, 2 years to the expiration, you need to conduct another assessment. And after the expiration, before you give out all the necessary documents that the bank give out as a guarantee for the use of that, before you give out those documents back to the bank, you need to conduct another assessment. And that's why you see when you are giving out a property, when you are giving out a space to a tenant or to somebody that is leasing that property from you, you need to include as part of your detailed list of schedule that you want the property returned to its original position or original state after the lease expiration period. And some company can decide to, okay, if we cannot make the property back to the way it was when we rented it, or when we take over, we can monetize it. That okay, by the time we are going, for those things that you needed us to do to make the property come back to the way it was before we started making use of it, we are going to pay so amount of money. This must have been formed part of the lease agreement, so that by the time the lessee is pulling out of that property, you are using that same money that they have already paid you as a property owner to turn their property back to its original state before they took over. Because bank, for instance, the bank taking up your property and they built a strong room inside that facility. By the time they are pulling out of that property, they might not be able to remove that strong room. And for you to remove that, it's coming at a cost for you. So you might have already initially incorporate this cost as part of the cost you are going to pay as part of the lease cost. A schedule of dilapidation is a description of any defect present in the building. It means the problem with the maintenance of the building. A schedule of dilapidation is prepared after the completion of a condition survey, or most of the time when you are taking over your facility. Then, part of what you gain when you do your condition assessment thoroughly is that it helps you to increase plant energy efficiency system as cost saving opportunity. For instance, when you do the assessment, the roof savings, and the only time you operate the warehouse is during the day. Part of your energy savings opportunity could be, instead of you using the normal roofing sheet, you can change all the entire roof to all these transparent plastic roofing sheets. They are transparent enough that during the day, you can even see a pin falling down within that warehouse area. So you can decide to remove all the roof and put all these transparent ones. Now, pulling out the roof might be at a cost, but this is going to save you a lot of huge amount of cost in terms of energy, because that means the whole entire warehouse is not going to be illuminated. The only thing you are going to use light for maybe be minor facility daily operation. But as far as lighting is concerned, to illuminate the whole warehouse has already been eliminated. or possibly after you join your assessment, you discover that the air conditions in that facility are the olden days window unit air condition. You can decide as part of your plan to replace all these air condition with inverter air condition, which is going to save you a huge amount of cost. Or you can decide that if the current lighting are fluorescent bulbs, you can make it part of your plan to change all of them to LED. So it is easier for you to make use of your assessment to save energy. Or possibly after you have conducted your assessment, you discover that the place is very, very good for solar. You can make the whole entire building a solarized panel instead of painting. Put solar panel on the whole entire building wall and use that solar energy generated to power possibly your common area within the whole facility. So you know that day in, day out, the common area energy is completely taken out of the net of the occupant. So when you are telling your occupant that okay, you are not paying for common area lighting, it saves them a lot of cost. So you can decide that okay, the only thing I'm going to charge you for is the actual cost of energy you use within your lettable area. For common area is free of charge, or possibly you can be charging them a little token amount of money for further maintenance of the solar energy. These are all what your facility condition assessment can help you to determine or can help you to generate when you do a comprehensive work. Evaluate the current condition of the asset. You know what is the current condition of the asset. Does the asset meet the current aesthetic look of that facility? It's just like the olden days. When you go to party, the only thing you see in party are all these iron chairs. Now it came to a point that people started using covers for iron chairs. From there, we come back to plastic chairs. Then, when you go to some parties now, you see chairs that are very sophisticated ones. It all depends on how you have the money. So, or possibly you discover that the chairs within the whole entire facility are not with ergonomics. You can decide to make sure that you change all those chairs to your chairs that are having ergonomics. Or possibly the tables are no longer, the tables are made of iron, which is already rotting. Why do you want to spend money on those ones? You can decide to take them out because based on their current condition, they are no longer useful and you cannot sustain. You can't sustain them. You can pull them out and put a better one that is going to sustain you for a period of time. Then forecast of future life renewal of the asset as they reach the end of their useful life. Even if at all you are not going for an actual replacement of that particular asset, you can decide on okay, we can still use this for the next 2 years based on the assessment we carried out. The next 2 years, this will still serve us. After 2 years, we can start planning on the outright replacement of that particular asset. Developing costs for remedial work and identify area of improvement. These are part of what you stand to gain when you do your condition assessment. What are the processes of condition assessment? One, when you want to conduct your facility condition assessment, what are those things you need to put in place? An FCA is the comprehensive planning tool used to determine the physical condition and functional performance of the facility. It is a multidisciplinary activity that, like we mentioned earlier on, that involves an architect, a quantity surveyor, a structural engineer, a mechanical, electrical and plumbing engineer, safety team, expert, and professional in certain fields. You want to assess a 20 stories skyscraper. You may need somebody that is an expert in assembling of scaffolding. You might need people to bring up possibly a drone for you to assess the external side of the whole skyscraper. For the interior, you can make use of your lift to take you to each of the floor. But in case you don't want to spend money in getting scaffolding, you can get a company who has a drone to help you do the external assessment or the roofing assessment of that facility with the aid of the drone. And this company must be able to give detailed report after the assessment. And what are those instruments that you need for assessment? At least the minimum you can talk about is your measuring devices. It could be a manual, maybe possibly a 5 meter a 5 meter length meter, or a digital or infrared tape. Data capturing devices like your data sheet, your camera, your Android phone, your cameras, then your protective gear, and any other equipment that is necessary. If you want to do, possibly maybe the transformer has been neglected for like over 1 year, the transformer has not been used, you might need to write letter to Discos to come and carry out a technical analysis of the transformer for you before you put load on it. These are part of the result of your assessment. Then, before you go ahead and do an assessment, you need to design the assessment scope. What are those things that you want the assessors to look at when they get to that facility? It is not that, okay, for electrical team, these are what I need you to assess. Check the socket, check the lighting, check the wiring, check the breakers, check everything. So you've already designed that, and when they get to site, they know exactly where they're going to. For the plumber, I need to check each of the WC. What has happened to the tank, the seat, the tank cover, the connectors, and all the necessary plumbing accessories that are attached to it. When you get to the kitchen, check for the basin, washing basin, check for the tap, check for the waste tap, and you've already designed this, already itemized, so that every member of your team know exactly what they are going to assess when they get to the site, and they know the exact report they are giving you back. So your own is that after you have collected those reports, you summarize it, you assign cost to it, and you present it to management. Determine the assessment scope, select assessment team, and mobilize them. Plan inspection and arrange site assessment. Why do you need to do this? If you need to assess a roof, if you want to do a roof assessment is not something you do during the day when the sun is at the peak. It's something you do earlier enough when the roof is still not heated enough. So you can plan that one to maybe between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning. Not something you could do around 12 to 5 o'clock in the evening. No. So these are part of your inspection plan. Then data collection, because each member of the assessment team knows exactly what they needed to take in terms of data. Conduct inspection, gather the data, and interpret the data. No, once they submit their report to you, you know which one. When you are assessing electrical, if there is need for you to send contractor to the site, you know area where you need your contractor to assess. Oh, there's a particular place where the complete breaker in the GB is completely gone. Then when you are sending to your electrical contractor, go to flat 1. The DB is no longer in place. Give me the cost of the DB. You are sending to your plumbing contractor. Go to flat 2. The old floor drainage are completely in a mess out. Give me the cost of the floor drainage. Then you take all the costs and you assign cost to all those items. Then you know how much am I spending on electrical in flat 1, how much am I spending on plumbing in flat 1, how much am I spending on civil, how much am I spending on the roof. So you itemize. So the total cost of roof in all flats that are needed that has roof issues. How much am I spending on all those flats, and what is the total cost that I'm spending on roof in the whole entire facility? So you can get all your costs in a breakdown format. Then review of representative sample. At times, when you want to collect your data, you might not necessarily need your team for assessment. You can use survey. Send survey to the end users, people who are occupants of that facility. Let them tell you what are their challenges. So some of them will come back to tell you in that survey that, okay, socket is bad, the roof is leaking, the door is bad, and you itemize all those things. So when you are sending your contractor to that site, you tell the contractor exactly what they are going to assess in each and every flat or in each every lettable space within that facility. So they are coming back with their cost of what they have observed in those areas. Summarize the result, evaluate the inspection, prepare the report, compile data, prepare quotation for remedial work, and assign cost to each and every activity. Then when you have done that, communicate your finding to the top management, do your final report, and present your report to the management team. And because of the fact that you have all comprehensive detail about the facility, so when you are doing the defense of the cost you want to incur, the management can ask you why you want to spend this money. Then you can easily go to your laptop, bring out the pictorial view. This is the current condition. If you leave this building this way, it's going to crack. That's why we want to make sure we correct the water leakage, and that's why we need to get a structural engineer to do a structural integrity of the entire building. So you have defensible data at your disposal when you are telling them how much you want to spend. And every investor want to know what they stand to gain if they put the money in place. If they spend the money, the facility will be in good condition, then they stand the chance of maximizing their profit within a span of certain period of year. Then once they give you approval based on your defense, then you can now start putting your assessment to work. You can start doing your repair. Other process of condition assessment. FCI, your facility condition index can as well be conducted while with digital, sorry, it should be FCA rather. FCA. Your FCA can be conducted with digital and software services. You can use your drone, which I've earlier mentioned, to help you to assess hard to reach areas just like your roof or top structure. Twin modeling. Twin modeling means you have the entire building model like a twin on your system. So digital twin modeling is a virtual replica of a physical asset or system. This gives you opportunity of real-time monitoring of your asset or function. Then IoT sensor, that is Internet of a Thing. Your IoT sensor can continuously monitor and collect data on different parameters of your facility, assets like vibration, temperature, or humidity. So when the temperature of the building is on the high side, you can deduce what is actually going to happen to the building. Or when when the building is gaining in terms of humidity, that is going to be weakening the strength of the building envelope. Then vibration, when you are getting a lot of vibration from the building, where is the vibration coming from? Because if the vibration is huge, it can start causing you what we call structural differential of that entire building. Then software, CMMS software. CMMS I've already explained to us last week when we discussed on facility condition assessment. When we discuss asset management, we talk about CMMS and we talk about CAFM. That I said your CAFM is like the mother, while CMMS is just like a child under it. Your CAFM is computer-aided facility management, and your CMMS is computerized maintenance management system. So your twin modeling, your CMMS, your IoT sensor, and your drone, they are all classified under computerized, computer-aided facility management system. Because all these things we mentioned about are completely computerized. Then, how do you assess your building in terms of assessment? You can do what we call drive-by assessment. You can do crawl-through assessment, and you can do walk-through assessment.
I can't hear anything. Is it me?
I can't also hear.
Okay, thank you, Henry.
In general,
Okay, I'm back. Can we hear me? Hello? Okay.
Yes.
Basic example to explain
We
this
can hear you.
driver, crawl through, and walk through. For instance, I needed to buy a Nigerian used car, and on my way going to work on my way coming back from work, I saw that same car that I wanted to buy. And while I'm driving by, I pick up the phone number and I call the seller. How much is the car? We negotiate and I make payment. That is one. Then the second one is that while I saw the car, I park and I walk around the car and I negotiate with the seller and I make payment. The third one is I park my car, walk around the car to check the external features. I open up the door, I check the interior, I take up the key of the car. I drove the key to a certain distance, maybe like 1 kilometer, and drove back, check the braking system, and check everything, and I make payment. You're going to agree with me that out of those three assessments, the best one is the last one because I opened the car to check the interior, I've confirmed the engine is available, and I've confirmed the integrity of the engine before I pay. So that is just the three processes of assessment. The drive-by is a high-level review that focuses primarily on the system level. It doesn't divide the building into components. It only looks at the system, with less detail applied to the condition of individual assets or components. It is also a
in a system-wise manner, providing general statement about the project concern associated with each of the building. So it's like looking at a micro aspect of the building, but it doesn't give detail to.
No problem. Yes, sir.
Somebody's speaker is on. Please help us mute your speaker. Thank you. Then the walkthrough is also a method of collecting data during assessment. Also, your walkthrough, and your drive-by are almost related. But the only thing is that they don't give a comprehensive data about the facility. But the crawl-through, which is also the top tier scale, is a rigorous assessment of the asset that is carried out as a component level assessment. You look at every component within the entire facility, or you refer to it as bottom-up assessment in order to gather empirical data. The assessment team spend more time on the field of observation because they have to look at every component of the building. So each of them has an advantage and they have disadvantage. The crawl-through gives a detailed information and actionable data, but it is very, very expensive and time consuming. And most of the time, you might not need it for some facility. But when you are talking about Mr. Fatorisha, please,
I think from what you're interested, Mommy,
somebody drop a comment. Mr. Anyako, please, can you confirm you can hear me now? Maybe you can check your internet because you said the
no, it's not that I'm not hearing. I'm hearing, but it's fluctuating. It's not stable.
I think you might need to check your data.
Forget. Let's see, collect and say the same again.
I think the network is actually.
Can't read this that happened before.
Then, I said earlier on, I said we have FCA and we have FPE. Your FCA is facility condition assessment. Your FCA is facility condition assessment. Then your FP is facility performance evaluation. You do once, you do the FCA before you are taking up a facility, and we've already mentioned when we can do our FCA. But your FPE, you can do it on monthly basis, on quarterly basis, biannual or yearly basis. The reason why you do FPE is you want to measure, because you already have a KPI, you already have a goal that you want to achieve. Then you will now use your FPE, this is facility performance evaluation, to see area where you are lagging behind in terms of your deliverable to your end users. Security-wise, availability of water, availability of electricity, access to even you as a facility manager when there are complaints. Then, what is the response period when there is a complaint from the end user? These are what you need to measure in terms of performance to know if you are actually up to your proposed percentage or you have been falling below your percentage of performance. What is performance evaluation? An extension of what can be called post-occupancy evaluation. FPE is a continuous process of systematic evaluation. It's a continuous process. That's why you do it either on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, biannual or on an annual basis. The performance or effectiveness of one or more aspects of the building in relation to issues such as accessibility, how accessible is the facility, how aesthetic is the facility, how cost effective, what is the functionality, productivity, safety, security, and sustainability. Then, with your performance evaluation, it helps you to better understand the impact of early design deliverable decision on long-term efficiency, effectiveness of the building, also to better understand the impact of building deliverable process and decision on customer response, both initially and over the life cycle of the building. It extends beyond a physical assessment. It includes consideration of obsolescence and others such as qualitative factor. How are you performing? Are you on excellent? Are you very good? Are you good? Are you average? Or are you poor? What is our security performance last month of May? What is our expectation in the month of June? In the month of May, we have 0 tests. And in the month of May, we have only 3 or 5 security reports. And when we do our evaluation, we said, okay, in the month of June, we want to lower our security complaint to as low as either 0 or 2. Then at the end of June, we're going to do another evaluation to see if we actually achieve that 0 to 2% performance or we are above, possibly maybe like 3. So what drives us to achieve that 3? We're supposed to be between 0 and 2. What actually happened for us to extend to 3? Then in the month of July, we want to stick to that 0 and 2. And by the month of July, we achieve that. Okay, what have we done that help us to achieve that 0 to 2 security complaint in the month of July? This is what we have done. Okay, let's make sure that we stick to what we have done to achieve that 0 to 2 security report for the month of July. This is what your performance evaluation helps you to achieve. Then, when you want to do performance evaluation, at times it might require you to send survey to the end users of the building. Then, most of the time, when you know you want to conduct a performance evaluation, and you know you are actually not going to do anything with that survey when you get it, it is better for you not to even undertake it. Or your evaluation at times will be working up to the end users of your facility and listening to their complaints, and you use that complaint to determine if you are actually providing what you have mentioned in the agreement to them. Because if you have mentioned in the agreement that there is going to be 24 hours power supply, and you are not giving that 24 hours, by the time you send your survey, you get a lot of complaints. You can easily itemize how average are you giving per day? Then the applying phase consists of preparing documents, reporting the findings of the analysis, recommending action, monitoring and reviewing the outcome of such action undertaken. Outcomes are very, very important because they may be used as a feedback to modify, to improve on the next cycle of performance evaluation processes. And that's why you see, even we, facility manager, we still evaluate all our supervisor, all our direct reports in terms of their performance. Why do we evaluate them? Because we want to see if they are actually meeting the already established responsibility, the already established scope of their assignment, they already established their daily need, their daily responsibility as a supervisor or as a technician. And we, as a facility manager, we still get ourselves evaluated by the MG of our company in terms of our deliverables. And most of the time, I always try to tell facility manager, your end user writes a lot about your evaluation than what your MD says. So most of the time, it is always better you give a good deliverables to the end users because most of the time they are the ones that write appraisers. What are the benefits of performance evaluation? It helps you in terms of short-term benefits related to immediate design decision. What are those things that you need to change? What are those things that the end users complain much about after your evaluation? Facility maintenance and management issues are being brought up. Then medium-term benefits include related to generating useful information for future projects. Maybe when you do your evaluation, you see that what your people complain mostly about in that facility is accessibility. So when you want to do another project, the first thing you consider is this facility must be accessible enough. You don't want to have the repeated of what we have in the other facility. The long-term benefits, long-term to improve the long-term performance of building and to justify major expenditure. Possibly, maybe what they are complaining about is the whole facility is looking unkept in terms of painting. The paint that have been there for like over 15 years ago is what is still going, is what is still there. And you know that for you to get the whole entire facility painted, this might be costing you like almost about 500 millions of naira. Because one, you want to use a quality paint, you have to consider the cost of the paint itself, the cost of people who are going to paint it, the material involved and everything. This might be running into millions of naira, and you don't have that financial capacity. Then you can start thinking about how you are going to get it done in the nearest years to come. Maybe after 5 years, you start planning that, okay, the next 5 years, you want to get the whole entire building painted. Maybe when the lease agreement of the building users expire, you want to do the painting so that
tell you is that at times when you do your performance evaluation, when you do your performance evaluation, what the end user
sorry, somebody dropped a comment. I need to see that comment. Please, can we all hear me? Somebody said you can't hear me. Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh, good.
We can hear you.
Good. So when you do your performance evaluation, at times it's always very difficult to establish a link between what is actually readily available and what your end users are actually requesting for. Fine, you've already said in the scope of the agreement that there's going to be a 24-hour power supply. Along the line, the generator breaks down. Fine. you can't rule out breakdown in terms of the generator. Since you cannot rule out breakdown and the generator breaks down along the line, and you try and get the generator fixed, but after repairing the generator is not giving you the 100% performance like it was before. And currently, you don't have the financial capacity to replace that generator. And when you do your performance evaluation, the end users are actually clamoring, asking for a brand new generator. So at times, there is always a fusing link between what the end user is asking for or what is actually the resources that is available at your disposal as a facility manager. What you needed to do in that scenario is you are going to use what we call a chain, the relationship between you and the end user to resolve that case. We agreed the generator is not giving us what we want, but we can guarantee you 20 hours or 18-hour power supply instead of the initial 24 hours. But in the theory, we are already discussing with a power company who is going to be supplying us power to meet up the remaining 6 hours. Or we're already putting in a plan to get the generator replaced in the next 1 year. Kindly bear with us for now. Then when you are doing another performance evaluation, you are only evaluating yourself based on the 20 hours of power availability that you are currently achieving. So if you are still sticking to that 20 hours, then in terms of performance evaluation, you still good because you had initially communicated this to the end user in which they have already agreed. And you try as much as possible to ensure that if you have promised a 1-year calendar for the after replacement of the generator, ensure that for every month you are carrying them along. In the next 11 months, in the next 10 months, in the next 5 months, in the next 1 month, in the next 2 months, fine. After the expiration, assuming you still don't have the generator in place, you can, okay, sorry, this is what has happened, but we can assure you by next month, we are going to have that in place. This is where communication and relationship comes into place. The relationship between facility design and performance evaluation is complex and confusing. They are asking for a lead because the building is a 3-story building or 4-story building, and they are asking for a lead. But based on the design of the building, there is no how you can incorporate a lead into that building, because for you to incorporate a lead, you need to consider the building integrity. Can the building integrity carry the weight of that lead? And if that is not possible, you need to let them know that structurally that is not possible. So they have to live by using the staircase. These are challenges that you come to encounter when you are doing your performance evaluation. And how do you conduct this? How do you conduct your performance evaluation? Develop a clear statement about what the organization wants to achieve in that evaluation. When you let them know this evaluation we are doing, this is what we want to use it for. It is for the benefit of both the end user and the facility owner. Make the link between the evaluation and stated requirements have to be explicit and easy to trace. You need to tell them this is what you want to use the evaluation for. And when you are establishing that, let them say this was as a result of the evaluation we did. That's why we are able to come to this thing we are putting in place. Identify resources available to carry out the FPE. Match data collection and analysis to their valuable time, budget, and resources. Determine the appropriate methodology. What method do you want to use? Is it physical visit, is it survey, or you want to send out a questionnaire which end user will fill and send back to you? Inform respondent or occupant or end user about the purpose of their involvement and how the data will be used. Why do you want to involve them in the assessment? The reason why you want to involve them is because they are the end user. And if there is need not to involve them, go ahead, do your performance evaluation. You don't need to involve them. Establish performance goal, interpret and synthesize the performance evaluation findings. Make sure make results widely available for every stakeholder within that facility. Suggest a way to consolidate the performance evaluation results And what are the lessons you learn as an organization that you don't want to repeat in every other facility you want to take up again? Then you develop an active method to disseminate the consolidated work data. A record of past projects will serve as a good justification for future performance evaluation. These are all what a performance evaluation gives you. Benefit of evaluating building system. A feedback loop for continuous improvement. It serves as improvement fit between occupants and the building. Also, it serves as optimization of service to suit the occupant or the end user. It also helps you to reduce waste of space and energy. It also helps you to validate occupant real needs. What are the real needs of the end users of your facility? Reduce ownership and operational expenses. It helps you to improve competitive advantage in the marketplace because based on their evaluation, they can tell you that, oh, when you go to A and B facility, they have 24-hour supply. When you go to this facility, their security system is top notch. So based on that, you can use that one to improve on your security architecture as well. What are the challenges you encounter when you want to implement the performance evaluation within your facility? Fragmented incentive and benefits with the procurement and operation processes. At times, you may not have the financial capacity to carry out your FPE. And these are all the challenges. Lack of an agreed and reliable indicator. The occupants are asking for A, and your financial capacity, your available resources cannot meet up that to their requirements. Potential liability for owner. If you are going to satisfy the occupant, it could make the whole scenario to become a liability for you as a facility management company. Exclusion from current delivery expectation, then exclusion from professional curriculum, because at times their requirement might be taking you out of the professional ethics, and this is why relationship comes into place. Then there is generally no money set aside for performance evaluation. Sometimes performance evaluation will require a considerable amount of time and money. And organization may not always have people with necessary skill to conduct that FP. And if you don't have people that can do that, for you to do it externally might require you spending a huge amount of money. Professionals often do not like to have their work judged by other professionals. Because when you have other facility company to come in to come and do evaluation for you, and by the time they are pointing to one or two things that you yourself as a facility manager ought to see, it might not go well with you. This is a sample of a facility condition assessment. And if you are going to consider this is a typical drive-by or walk-through assessment. Then this is another one because this is looking at every aspect of the building in a system-wise manner. You can see, no, this is a crawl-through example of facility condition assessment format. You can see this is taking every component of the building one by one. Account office, conference room, driver's room. What are those things you get to know in driver's room? The building fabrics is not good. The ceiling board is bad. Then stain on ceiling board as a result of water leak from the roof. What kind of assessment condition? Is it major or minor? It's a major one. Then recommendation, repair roof, replace and repaint ceiling board. Then you can also create a column here that you can assign cost. You can create another column here. If I'm going to design my own, I can create a column on this third stage and assign cost. Then I can put responsibility, in-house staff or contractor. Then I can say that responsibility name. Then I can put the name of my own in-house technician who's going to anchor that, or I can put the name of the contractor that I'm going to assign the job to. Then this is an example of a facility condition assessment in terms of drive-by or walkthrough. which is looking at the facility in terms of a system-wise. You can see we have electrical system, we have security system, mechanical system, power system, building fabrics, other system. This is not looking at the building in a component phase manner, but it's looking at the roof system, it's looking at the building system, it's looking at security system, and what are those things? Fire alarm, fire hosting, camera, and biometric system. But when you are considering this security system in terms of crawl-through, you talk about the fire system, you take the fire system as a single entity. What are the components associated with this fire system? You are talking about the pressurizer, you are talking about the energizer, you are talking about the mechanical actuator, and you are talking about water. These are what you consider when you are talking about your crawl-through facility condition assessment method. With this, we come to the end of the facility condition assessment. Before we call it a day, we're going to have some question and answer. With question and answer, I'm going to switch over to another system for us to quickly do it. I'm running out of power. So let me quickly do that. Okay, we can start having a question before I switch over to the other system. So let me hear our questions for today.
Okay, we should randomly ask.
All the questions, sorry, 1 minute, ma'am. All the questions here, you have to attempt to read and submit. So when you're asking questions today, it's not going to be part of this question on this system.
Okay, the network at a point was really not stable.
Okay.
So I didn't really get how many levels of facility FCA that we have.
We have 3. We have the drive-by, we have drive-by, we have walk-through, and we have crawl-through. Walk, as you are walking around. Crawling means you are checking at each stage.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're much welcome. So, next question, please. Next question, please.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, with you, Madam Alajire.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Please, I would like more enlightenment about as-built drawing, architectural drawing.
Okay.
The network was somehow poor from my side while you were taking it. So I would like more clarifications about all those drawings you mentioned.
Oh, okay. Like I said earlier on, I said your architectural drawing is a drawing that's been given to you when you are about to commence the project. The architect do the design and give you the drawing. This drawing is what the contractor will use to construct the whole entire building. But in the process, while the project is ongoing, initially, it was not envisaged that there is going to be a column where a plumbing pipe is supposed to pass. But along the line, you came across a column, and you need to lay your
I can't hear you again, sir. I don't know whether it's my network.
It's not here, so we can't hear neither.
Okay, thank you. Engineer, please, we can't hear you again.
You said some minutes ago that it was running out of power.
The network is so bad today.
Hello.
Hello, engineer. We can't hear you again.
Yeah, so it seems you went out of power now. So if we still have any question, can you drop it on the group so I'll share it with him? Hello, everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so if anyone have any question, can you drop it on the group so I'll send it to him, and if we answer, I'll drop it on the group again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for your patience.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye, you're welcome.
Bye-bye.
All right, you have a nice day.
Thank you. Good
Bye,
night.
everyone.